Okay, and I must have done it 20 times at least.
You wait for me to ask you, Jeff.
So,
Jeff, would you like to be our chaplain again for this year?
I knew that was something. So, when I first came to the first council meeting, I'd never been to one before. I was absolutely flabbergasted. It was so political. I couldn't believe it. Right now, I'm pleased to say I don't know what half of your political views are, but it wasn't the place to air your political views above what was necessarily right for Ilfracombe. I'm pleased to say that now, X years later, I'm chaplain again at much request. It's totally different. People that are on this council now, and our thoughts are, well, let's hope that next month we're going to have 3 new councillors, they'll have the same views. I am interested in Ilfracombe, and that's what I get from this meeting. Everybody has their political views, and that's lovely. You have your own. Happy to share. It's here, it's Ilfracombe. What do I want for Ilfracombe? And the discussions that you have, I have to say, are not shouting at one another. And it was, if you came to it, I'm sure no one was there, you know, they were shouting at each other from their political viewpoint. And, oh, thanks. I couldn't believe it, but I slowly got used to it. And then as things changed and things changed, we end up with a council that has their own political views, but their interest is Ilfracombe, because that's where they're concerned for, which is really lovely. So I hope that on next month, when the new councillors are here, wherever they are, that they will have the same view of Ilfracombe. This council is for Ilfracombe, not to create some political division. I enjoyed the council meetings, which they slowly changed until it's like this, which is wonderful. So let's have a prayer to close this part of the service. Heavenly Father, we thank you for Ilfracombe Town Council as it is now, and we realise, Lord, that in a few weeks we'll have new members, and we pray for them as they're considering what they want to do when they join the council. We thank you, Lord, that Mark and June are happy to continue for another year, and ask, Lord, that you just bless them and encourage them as they work for Ilfracombe and the surrounding area. And so we commit ourselves to you. Heavenly Father, thank you for knowing us, knowing all about us, knowing our heartfelt needs. And we pray that you'll bless us and use us for Ilfracombe. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Jeff. Right, so let's say welcome everybody. Item 2 is to receive and consider for approval apologies and reasons for absence.
We've had apologies from Councillor Newland and Councillor Schofield. And Councillor Elliott.
Right. Item 3 to receive and record declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? No, good. Any items for chair's discretion?
Yes. Two. I'd like to keep you all informed.
Unless it crops up somewhere else, I'll try and shoehorn it in, Chair.
Any more for any more? No, that's 3 items for chair's discretion. Public participation. Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Can we start with Norm? I missed you last night.
I'll just do as well. I'm sorry to keep on going back to the things I've talked about. There's one thing that's always on my mind, and I don't give Sarah a due.
Laura.
Laura.
It's okay.
You did look into the for lighting on the seafront. I know you did. Well, the problem is the North End District Council got 4 people working from. They were working. About 2 or 3 days later, gone. And they've been on since. And only people that can keep lights on down there is the Weatherspoons. And I suppose they got their own electrician, but it's not very good at all. And now, regarding down the harbour, some of the lights are working down there, but when you come to the last round of the town hotels, they're all right. There's something happened to like the strings broke. The other thing is, what's looking disgusting and open, I'm sorry to come off gang with it, and you can say it has nothing to do with the council, I agree, it isn't. Well, when you see pictures of open probably on the television, and then they always show you not the best parts of open sometimes, doing the bad parts. You come into Oakham on Filter Road and look at the Osmond Hotel. It was started, but it seemed to stop work again. And if you come on Northfield Road just down here, it doesn't look very good at all. Is it possible for this council to find out from the, I believe it's an Indian gentleman who owns the place, to see what's going on? If you did look into it, I know, instead of you waiting, but there's no progress on that place at all. So it would be nice if somebody could look at it, because for Ilfracombe, as like Jeff said, he thinks of Ilfracombe, I think of Ilfracombe, what exactly what he says, you don't want Ilfracombe to look at a drowned place, and it does look pretty awful when you get down on Wilder Road. You've got the hotel, nothing too good, and you've got the Grosvenor, another one, which is not looking very good. And apparently the gentleman who bought the Grosvenor Hotel, he didn't really want it, it's just remained cheap. And I understand he's talking with the gentleman, knows something about the gentleman. And I don't think he knows what to do with it either. So it would be nice if somebody could look into that side of it. So when people drive in the seafront, they don't have to drive past all this not very nice situation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Norman. Notice?
It's noted, Norman, but just let you know, we constantly are having those conversations. One of our officers is in discussion for the North End District Planning all of the time. So they are aware and they're in conversations with the owners of the Osborne, but I haven't got an up-to-date version, so I will get that for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Andrew?
No,
Julia? David?
yes.
Good.
Well, guess you last one. I have a question about the engagement that the town council has or not. I'm not sure how things stand with regards to the high street. And whilst I appreciate it's very difficult to sort of inhabit all of the shops with business, when we see one closed down by police and then subsequently reopened a few doors long, questionably, I would say.
There we go.
Does the town council have any engagement with landlords? I know, you know, as a landlord myself, if you have a property, you want to see a return on it, but when those returns are, let's say, questionable, is there any engagement from this group of councillors? Or can there be?
Well, yes, it's the short answer. I don't know if you want.
Yeah, so there is engagement. We've got a high street regeneration team that works on that, and we also have a town team which meets every 6 weeks here. We've got engagement with high street traders. They come to that meeting. Landlords, it's a bit more difficult because we don't know who the landlords are. But it is something we're working with North Devon Council officers with, who can get us some of that information. With regards to the one particular business you're referring to, that was explained at the town meeting by the police. So what happens is that the police have to work alongside trading standards. They did that, got the result, but unfortunately then they reopen. The police have informed trading standards again that this is happening, but unfortunately police have to wait for trading standards to visit, and they get told that they're only going to be available in another 3 weeks. So they have to work in conjunction with each other, so the local police are reporting it to the trading standards, they're just waiting for that cohesion of both teams to be able to enforce another closure, but I appreciate what you say about the landlord engagement.
Councillor Crabb.
It ought to, they probably know, but it ought to be mentioned that the retail system that they used to use was to hold a certain amount of stock in the shop. I understand now you go in and express a desire to buy something and a little chap appears with it. So the stock is no longer held in the shop. Which means it's a little bit more, but that needs to be passed up the line, you just follow something without realizing it going.
Let's also say it's technically the police are aware of what happens in the town, and these things discussed in quite detail. Although what they find is that is not the road closed under, let's make a name up, John, has that up the road. Jim, it may, opens one up next to it. Different name, different links, so it's a whole new investigation. Again, that takes months. The police are aware, but without anything, it takes time.
No consequence, I think that's the
It's
the name of
difficult.
this country at the moment. Like,
Yeah, in many areas.
yeah. There you go. Okay.
The town team, police do attend the town team meeting, and they are holding engagement meetings for the public to obviously voice these concerns. So they are being quite proactive in trying to get that communication. So do always feel free to go to those.
I missed the town meeting, so if it was just.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. No, it's good for town team meeting, police were, it's the new inspector, so she addressed a lot of issues. You felt her frustrations, so. Thank you for that, everybody. Moving on to item 6, to determine which items, if any, of the agenda should be taken to the public excluded. You got a part B stuff?
No.
Everybody else got anything for part B? No. Right, well, let's move on to adopt the minutes of the last full council meeting held on the 30th of April. And for any matters, updates and actions arising. Anything about the last council meeting minutes or anybody? There are no points raised, I will propose we adopt those minutes. We get a seconder. No. All in favour? Anybody against? No abstentions? Good. Adopted. Deferred items. What do we want to cover for that? Link centre update?
Chair, I think Steve will probably has already, I think, addressed that within his report, but
Yeah.
we deferred it because unfortunately you weren't at last month's meeting. So don't you want to let councillors know about the Link Centre update?
We want to do it now.
We do now, do it in your report, whichever you feel.
Well,
comfortable with.
There's nothing to update apart from, we wrote a letter, or I wrote them a letter, saying, the feedback from the meeting, how we were very despondent on their view, the view they're taking on this. And that, for them to look at, the wider context of, the handing over of the incense to us, and that actually they should be looking at, doing the maintenance work because of the years of neglect that building has suffered from. And I had an instant reply, saying that they would look into this more, and I haven't heard anything since. So I would assume that it's relatively good news if it's actually they're speaking about it. But they haven't come back and said it's a no, so I'm assuming that the wheels are in motion there, so yeah. Assume it's
Not a no, that's a positive.
How long ago was your instant reply? See what sort of time frame?
Well, I haven't followed it up. It was a book. It's been I wrote next day after the council meeting. I wrote the email. So yeah, it's been.
Yeah, I mean the one that you got from was it a week ago or?
No, it was it was pretty much it's about 4 weeks ago. So
4 weeks.
Yeah, so I'll follow it up.
Possibly longer, I think. Might be longer than 4 weeks.
Why did it also respond?
No.
No, it wasn't.
I'll follow.
Perhaps we could follow it up together.
Yeah.
Response, that's not good. Even if they're thinking about, even if they're thinking deeply, 4 weeks is a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that, Steve. 7.2 to review and agree the reserves portfolio.
Councillor Higgins or Carol.
Yeah, it's still under review. It will be brought to the June meeting, and councillor Huggins has written a report as well. On a certain aspect of the reserves which will affect the portfolio. You will receive that.
So we discuss that now.
Yes, yeah, this is the point which you need to discuss. So I think I circulated that report to all council members, 26028.
Report. So it's a quite long report, and I was saying in this time, but basically it's for decision over whether we use this expected surplus to bolster further our existing reserves, or whether we use it to effectively pay down expected debt on the subsequent loan for the car fund. There's a lot of detail and a lot of numbers in the report, but it's not worth going through them now. Hopefully you have a chance to read it. So I'll throw out open for questions.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah, it's excellent report. I thank Trevor for doing it. There was considerable initiative. I'm fully in favour of it. There are two questions, however, I would ask you. One, do we know what the view of Merseyside Fire Brigade or anybody else is in the near future?
Unfortunately, no. I've been in touch with the broker. The broker's in touch with them. They've not as yet to this point had a response. So my suggestion is that you either accept the motions that Councillor Huggins, my apologies, Councillor Huggins has put forward within that report, or alternatively, the would be that we would need to call an extraordinary meeting to make this decision if you don't decide to make these decisions now. And I would possibly when we've got that information, but I just don't have that, I'm afraid. I'm kind of working to the broker's time scale.
Well, can I
As
assume
best.
Councillor Huggins is proposing that report? I'll happily second it.
Have you heard? Have they given any indication?
No.
Because I'm worried.
I know you're worried,
I'm
and
worried.
I'm chasing as much as I possibly can without literally phoning them every single day. So I'm fully aware that.
Could we vote on it, the proviso that only if it comes true?
Yeah, well, if
Is that possible? Then it was say level in
Yeah.
EGM, I was thinking.
this would avoid us having to have an EGM. It just leave the officers to carry out the paperwork.
Yeah.
But we really need them to get back to us. Are the brokers looking at other potential sources on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
So we have a proposer to accept the proposal. Do we have a?
Second it.
What do we want to do? What you were saying? Caveat.
Yeah, the county's
That
in
was the same thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was just, yeah.
Okay, we've got a proposer, a seconder, all in favour? Anybody against? Abstentions? No.
I think the answer is no. Can we ever get this planning stuff from them?
Do you know what? I think I might have done.
Maybe have a look when you find your email.
I will look into that and I'll circulate to members once I found that. If not, I'll chase it up again.
Moving on to item 8, minutes of staffing committee meeting, the 20th of April. That's me, chairing the staffing still. Maybe till another week, who knows? Yeah, it was nothing exciting, no recommendations from the group, just please note the minutes and the agenda that was sent round.
Noted.
Item 9, minutes of planning committee meeting, 20th of April.
Right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I present to the members the minutes of the planning meeting held whatever day it was, sorry. And obviously, you've obviously read it in great detail, so I need a bit of telling on details about it. Any questions that members would like to raise? No? So can I get you to note these, please?
Thank you. Minutes of F&GP committee meeting, held on 27th of April, Councillor Huggins.
So it's a fairly quick meeting by our standards. It's quite short on topics. In the chair's discretion, one thing that we could perhaps get an update on was anything from Action for Children. If there's anything on.
No, unfortunately, I was waiting on a meeting. I haven't had that meeting, but I am keep pushing them because I need a decision to be made. So yeah, nothing as yet.
Otherwise, I'd leave the minute report to council.
Thanks, Troy. Item 11. The main event, proper officer report.
I like talking. I'm hoping that everybody's obviously read the report. So just a brief overview, obviously we now know that we are definitely having an election on the 4th of June. We've had 6 candidates who have put their names forward to fill the 3 spaces, which I think is really good engagement. So I'm quite pleased with that. Just so that you're aware and everybody's concerns of what polling cards will be going out. They'll only be going out to West Ward members because it is only West Ward candidates. So there will only be polling stations in the West Ward. So just in case you have anyone wondering why we haven't got a polling station at the Lantern or the Rugby Club, that's because they fall under the East Ward.
It's a fix, keep reform out.
This is a recorded meeting, councillor, and we're not discussing party politics, if that's possible, please. So just to let you know that is the where we're at. We've ordered the defibrillator that was agreed through Finance and General Purposes meeting. That will be placed at the St James's Public Conveniences. It'll be a locked box, so that we should be receiving quite soon. The insurance claim, I think, for the Lantern should be going through very shortly. There is unfortunately an excess of £250, but that's 10% pretty much of the repair to the damage that was caused through antisocial behaviour. Thank you to the councillors that attended the annual town meeting. I think it was successful. It was very much aimed at the police, unfortunately, on this occasion due to things that are happening around the town. But Joey Lester, I think, presented very well, and she has obviously given a report which was noted in the previous meeting. It is on our website, so please do feel free. All the questions and answers as best we can are on there, in case anyone asks. I think pretty much everything's done. Ex-councillor Coates is still sending us an update, which I think is handy. I will keep putting them into my report for Liam Lincoln for the interim, unless of course obviously we get another councillor who wants to be a Liam Lincoln champion, but I think maybe we'll got a month or so behind. So there are some updates in there. And sorry, one other thing was there was a DALC Connect event in relation to clustering. There's a link there. I do recommend that you kind of, if you can, attend those clustering meetings they put on. They're free of charge. They don't cost us anything. They're a good place to get some other information, to hear what other councils are dealing with as well. I think there's another 3 that coming up, one which is about age, elderly population and how councils are adapting. I'm not sure if I can attend that one, but there's a couple more on there, so I definitely recommend. And then obviously dates for the diary, all the events that are going on. That's done it.
Okay. We haven't got Levi Fair on them.
I do apologise. I'll try and go through the extensive list on Visit Ilfracombe to make sure I get them all, but there are quite a lot of events on there. So
Yeah, like that.
this is my chair's discretion, so I've shoehorned it in, it's an ideal situation, it gives me a chance for a proper debate on it. We all know, or anyone that's got a working Facebook account knows exactly what goes on in this town in the evenings and weekends. And now we, as a council, have been a victim of that exact same thing to the tune of £2,500. We are told from time to time the fact that despite we have clear video evidence of people climbing up under a roof in a criminal court, that is not proof because there's no sign of them actually ripping the slate off the roof.
Yeah.
Which is where I come on to my next point, is the fact that I propose that this council issue a civil action against each of the children and each of their families. It will cost us, I believe it's £88 per family, so I'm looking for a budget of about £275 to issue 3 court summonses for £2,500. A civil case, it's the balance of probability, it is not beyond reasonable doubt. The reason I'm proposing this is the fact that it's utter bloody madness to keep doing exactly the same thing, which is virtually nothing, and expect the results to change. This, if you get the document down on your doorstep saying you need to send us £2,500 or go bankrupt, I think that's going to change the family dynamic. And that's where this is going to be dealt with. It's going to be dealt with in the front room, in front of the telly.
Sorry, I appreciate that you put the motion forward, but you can't vote on it because it's not on the agenda. So much as you may have councillors debate and agree, we can't make an actual formal decision. So what I would suggest is that I can look into some.
Oh, keep going. Cool.
I'll look into some information.
You're upset?
Sorry, not every council meeting ends up with a character strategy because they've got them. But I'll look into it and I'll find out costings and things along those lines, and I will suggest that we bring it back as a formal motion to the next council meeting. Or if we've got it within certain delegated powers, we could possibly bring it through to finance and general purposes meeting.
Yeah, you know exactly they're there. Yeah.
Okay, no, thank you.
Do we have work less cover for that?
I'm not sure if it would fall under that. We might be able to do it through the insurance company because we have legal.
Yeah,
I think we can get £2,500 those people, but I think it will sharpen the conversation.
But the process may be covered by wellness because we have legal cover and they give you the 49.51% probability.
Yeah.
So, but we can look into that.
I'll investigate.
I mean, we can't just keep going on and on and on, sweeping it under the carpet. Someone's got to give you somewhere. And I totally agree with Councillor Crowd.
I've got a lot of voting on hearing, support for further investigation. So you've got to know this. Good stuff, right. So thank you for the proper officer report. Moving on to item 12, the RFO report. Carol.
We've received a copy of my report, and as usual, there is an addendum for the ones that came through this morning. Just to say, with the addendum, the 2 South West Water bills at the bottom, one of those is in dispute because we understand that one of them's been backed off for a number of years and yet we still get charged for it. So it is in dispute. We are going to do flow tests on it and work out where the water is going to, but it's backed off, so I can't see that it's going anywhere. So hopefully that will reduce our annual bill. The debtors, just to say, we sent letters out as requested on the previous full council, and to let you know that one of them is paid up completely, the other one has set up a regular monthly payment over 6 months to pay us what we owe. So those will be cleared, and the remaining outstanding customer payments, they've all been paid now, so they shouldn't have been. So just to look at the invoices for payment, are there any questions on any of those at all? if not, could I have somebody to propose that they be paid? Thank you, Trevor, and the seconder, David, are you all in favour? Yes, thank you, I will pay those tomorrow or in the next 3 days. Just to summarise as well, the reserves portfolio, now I've got your decision, I will finish that off and that will be presented at the F&G meeting for recommendation to full council. So that will be sorted very shortly, and as you saw from the last meeting, the AGAR is now just about ready to go. That will be finalised so that you can vote on it in June, and then it will be sent off. Our period of public rights will be after it's sent off, so it'll be sort of something like the 11th of June, I believe I've put on the public rights. So, and there's 30 days then that the public can come and look at them or contact the auditor. They have a right to contact the auditor to ask any questions they might want to of the auditor. But I have to wait until our internal auditor's been on the 11th of May. Sorry, on the 15th of May, so he's coming shortly.
Thank you, Carol. Any more questions for Carol? Well, moving on, item 13, Steve, Programme Manager report.
Yeah, so I'm giving you the link centre update. There's no more on that, but I'll obviously chase it up with the officers that we sent the email to. Just a few more points in the report that I want to pick out is that the first youth group took place last week, and 35 people attended in Sloane and was very well received. Gareth Mason is now employed by the town council and is now working 12 hours a week solely on youth and delivering that. And that whole project is now building up. Charmaine's obviously got funding for 12 months, but we're now looking to increase that for further if we can, and to look for a more permanent place if possible to run that. But so far it's been very successful. I just wanted to comment that the actual event itself was very, very well attended today. It was good, and there seems to be a lot of enthusiasm and chat in the town building up to that. So hopefully that'll be a really positive thing. Just to note that the next Royal King meeting is on the 27th of May this month, and obviously in council the welcome. And at that meeting we'll be looking at all of the 5 theme project updates, and also looking at the governance to do with one of the and how we might progress that forward. But it'll be quite a good meeting in council to want to attend that one. All the one of King finances are now updated, and the projections for next year are now completed as well. So those will be presented at that next one of King board meeting, and then I'll present it at the next full council as well. So everybody's got everything's up to date. The other thing I wanted to mention was the PCN contract work starts this month. We've got 1 year remaining on our PCN contract to live well here. Those talks are now starting at the end of this month with PCN to discuss if that contract's going to be renewed and then what that contract looks like. So it's a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding through tutorial, but it is quite important to see how that work continues and what that might look like in the future. We've got 6 wellbeing coordinators that will obviously on temporary contracts until the end of that. So we need to be working to make sure that they're all aware of what's going on. We've got redundancy within the factor already into our finances as well. So if we do continue with that, then obviously have redundancy. But I think the whole process is important, not only for us, but it's also important for the staff as well that are there, that we manage this and just to make sure that we know within 6 months before the end of the contract whether it's going to continue or it's not. And if it doesn't continue with us, that doesn't mean that it won't necessarily continue with the PCN. They might then take on the staff and then continue it in-house. So it's it's ongoing.
Thanks, Steve.
And the other section on the agenda, so I introduced you to Sylvia, so Sylvia's been working with us for 5 months. She started off as an intern with us, and we had a project that was looking at strengthening local democratic participation of the team. Because we've got low engagement numbers of people voting, and we've also had a limited number of councillors coming forward. This time's been an exception, but we've had a different diversity of councillors, all those types of things. So we basically commissioned Sylvia to do some work on it, and I won't continue. So you'll say a few words and sort of what we've done, and then the next step, what we're going to say.
Yeah, so hi, yeah, it's kind of looking on how the balance work been going. You know, like Steve said, there were kind of 2 focuses, so what ways could voter turnout at town council elections specifically be improved, and also increase the number of candidates coming forward, and also within both of those, like how can we get more voices that are currently underrepresented in the community heard. So yeah, we did, as part of this, we did I did one survey for the councillors, so thank you to those of you who filled that out, and then also did one for the community, and we got really good completion rate for that. So we had over 200 respondents, so that was really good. And then I've also done a little discussion group and some interviews as well, and brought together all the information from that and tried to pick out like some major themes. And I think yeah, one of the kind of key findings is that it's quite complex and there's a lot of different aspects rather than just one thing that's a barrier to this issue. So yeah, I'm going to be putting all together into a report which will be coming by the end of this month, and then we'll also want to make 2 videos, one for each of the focuses, so one on increasing voter participation, and the other one, like I said, encouraging more councillors, councillor candidates, and we'll have like a video which is around kind of explaining the key findings and like what recommendations there are to like help them through that. But yeah.
I think it's a really interesting piece of work. It's something that we've spoken about quite a lot, and Councillor Elliott brought this up numerous times about diversity in voting and active participation, and it's something that councils all across the country suffer from. And I've wanted to probably do this work, and Laura has as well, so we just haven't had the time to it. So by having Sylvia introduce some dedicated work on it, I think it's going to be an exceptional piece of work that might answer a massive amount of questions, but what it will do is we will be able to share it with other councils as well. And I just think it'd be really interesting to see actually in future what we can do to try and encourage more people to vote and to be councillors. So it should be a good piece of work by the end of it. And we've spoken about sharing it in Dalton across national councils as well, because nobody's really done any of this sort of work. So hopefully it'll be quite interesting. But it will be interesting. I hope.
That's good. Thank you. Councillor Crowell.
Very briefly, one of the counterintuitively, one of the things that normally reduces voter participation is the fact that they are relatively content, might be perfect, but they're very content. We had a discussion, I think it might have been before you were in, about when Norman was here and there was fights here and all sorts. The police had to come to a meeting, not to give the report, but to arrest councillors and go after the election. The participation was phenomenal. You couldn't get a seat in this room. It was absolutely packed. Then you only got to get up to next. So there are loads of increasing participation which may not be popular. So just be careful what the report recommends.
Back to alcohol served at the meeting.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Steve? Sylvia? No, thank you both. Item 14, to receive reports and proposals from Ilfracombe Town Councillors. Do we have any reports from Town Council?
We've not had any official written reports sent through outside of what's on the agenda, Chair.
Anybody want to do an ad hoc one?
Trying to stretch it out, Chair.
What? Item 15, to receive reports from county and district council. Who'd like to, who has, well, you obviously have one. You want to start, Sarah, or we go around the table?
Yeah, I think you've all seen my report. Please ask me any questions if you've got any, just looking at a couple of things. What's coming up shortly will be libraries. It's a bit of a ridiculous situation, to be honest. We've had 2 councillor meetings, well, one was a public scrutiny meeting and one was a councillor briefing, at which we were really hoping that there would be something very concrete to get our teeth into about future proposals about for the library service. But basically it's all fluff and it's just headlines, the same thing basically that we've been hearing. So that would be fine, except at Cabinet, they're going to be making decisions about the library on the 20th of May, and nobody has still seen a report to do with the consultation that, as you all know, went out and closed at the end of December or January. And admittedly, there have been a lot of replies to that consultation, but for it to take this long to come into a concrete report and for no councillors to have seen it, not even at the scrutiny committee, is baffling, to be honest. The worry is that obviously Cabinet have the right to make a decision, which then could be called in afterwards, but the lack of scrutiny time and making hurried decisions is not a very good combination for making what are, you know, very sensitive decisions about a service that's county-wide, and in other counties it's taking a very long time to remodel. So yeah, it's a bit concerning that we've not had detail on it. As soon as it comes out, we'll be on top of it, but it looks like we might only have maybe a day or two to read what could be a very long detailed report. So that's libraries. The other thing is mainly around the roads. You've seen lots of speed cameras going up between along the A361. I think, is it 8 or 9? Yes, between them multiple. So yeah, they're going gradually. Some of them are a combination of fixed speed cameras. There's one in I'm sure you know, that will soon be active. And then there's an average speed camera going in, for which there are at least 4. And there's also an AI camera. I've only just discovered that there wasn't going to be one, which will monitor. That's not really, that's going to be at the Ashford end, that will watch people for seatbelts and mobile phone use as well, because probably a third of fatal accidents involve no seatbelt wearing in Devon. So yeah, so just there's lots of chat about that on Facebook, and that'll be coming shortly.
Can I ask whether 100% Greenwich Road
Yes,
looks like a
very
lamp
close to it,
post?
isn't it?
Very close, yes.
It does look like a lamp post. Yeah,
It's like, I'm sure it is a lamp post. Not a camera.
It's yellow at the bottom. Yes, well, that is the location. I'm meant to believe. I can't imagine I've got another one. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
is a strange.
But the only town with a lamp post, 20 years.
It's remarkable. It is efficient village.
Yeah.
Can you tell anybody where you live? It's easy,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, I can't miss it, that's what.
Good question. You know, you said that some of these are average speed cameras and some are incident speed cameras.
Yeah.
Do they not have to put up some signage that says you're entering an average? There's no
Yes.
signage at the moment.
There will be signage, yes, they can't not put signage on.
I don't think anything's working yet, but twice I've been through hell with 38.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There's also numerous speeding issues around town, which I get a lot about the moment, but yeah, I've got any. There's no funding for sorting any of that out, whereas there was a lot of funding for the A361. Yeah, so that's it, unless anyone's got any other questions for me.
Yeah, actually, on those cameras, good news, which you know that the cameras are a fraction of the budget. 3/4 of it now goes on new roads and junctions and niceness and things like that, isn't it?
The 5 million,
Yeah,
safer roads. scheme.
Yeah.
Some of it's going.
Yeah.
Up the railway station and well, it was discussed for that.
Yeah.
That part, yeah.
But what I was going to question is the fact that if you are, you know what I'm going to say now, if you are unhappy about what's happening in the libraries, you are the administration. If your leader says to Julian, we are not happy, we will not vote for you at council, he will have to drop it, have to, because nobody else will vote.
Yes.
You know, it's not.
Yes, I do know that.
Good.
Yes.
Any more questions for Sarah?
Yeah, just that, I know it's really good. But your county, so it is a county issue, but not necessarily, well, part of Ilfracombe. I don't go to Ilfracombe very often because I like it so much. I went into Ilfracombe today and I could not understand, could not believe the state of the roads, the potholes. I mean, they're not pot, some of them, I mean, it's just Braunton, going through the centre of Braunton, there's a trench right down through the middle of the road. When are they gonna do something about it, Sarah? It's just getting absolutely like a third world
It's
country.
really bad as well, if you're on a motorbike, it's really
Yeah.
bad. I can ask about Braunton, it is bad, I have had, I don't circulate it to you.
And I've circulated it to all members.
An email from the cabinet member of highways saying that they can now move beyond doing only the most urgent into a second phase, whatever that may be, of repairs. And also whether the A361 money will cover that awful trench in Thornton, I don't know, but yeah, I'll find out, that's terrible. It's terrible for A road.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I also suggest that members are also reporting them, because if you're not reporting, I'm my own worst enemy, because I've got two that are up my road and it's only me that it affects, so the cul-de-sac, but I reported them recently and they were done within about 2 weeks. So, and mine's not a main road that goes up to anything. So it's, if they're not being reported, they're not going to be done. So
Springfield Road, terrible actually, it's very important. Anyway.
What you're saying, you just give you power to repair road by your house.
no, I reported it through the proper methods, got the proper email. And luckily they did it earlier than they anticipated, so they're very grateful.
You didn't know who I am.
No, unfortunately, I haven't got a box for that on the reporting system, unfortunately, but yeah.
Very quick question, you had a conversation I did with a guy from Mark Walker about these
Yes.
kids in our school.
Schools, yes.
And if I read it correctly, we've got 150 kids in Ilfracombe alone not in schools.
Yes,
I found that horrendous.
Yeah.
150.
I know, it's very high, it's no.
But it seems to be that they're not paying the property. There's a problem of Devon County Council, but only seem to be during the day, once the day finishes. There's talking about hubs and things for occupying them during
Yeah.
the day.
Well, parental responsibility comes into play with them going to their alternative provision, or if they're elected, this is where I was trying to explain the electively home educated subset, that can mean a whole plethora of things. Well, very good elective home education and then nothing at all.
So if they are home educated, is that modestly?
There is a thing called the virtual school, but yes, it is a big issue with how, I don't believe there's even a register of children that are electively home educated. It's because elective home education has grown massively in the last, I think since COVID actually, it's grown hugely.
I just assumed it was kind of monitored and people kept an eye on them and made sure they had some. I don't know.
I think the main point is that we could have a bigger cohort of children coming down the line who are, when they get to 16, 17, who are,
Zero social skills.
Yeah, and illiterate.
But Jodie at junior school is very passionate about trying to help them and do something about it because he's foreseeing issues that we haven't got anything in place.
These 150 kids, are they because their parents elected not to send them to school, or because they're such a problem at school?
School
combination.
They've elected not to have them. Some of them would have been removed from school by their parents. It is a big mixture. I mean, I can find out, I can.
Yeah, no, I was just horrified at the number, you know, so I read.
A lot of them were expelled from the academy.
Yeah.
That's why the academy ranked them so good, because they kicked
They
out
kicked out the ones who-
naughty ones. So they've got them together, but.
Hmm.
And then there's not enough alternative provision. So, or they have to travel a very long way to their alternative provision, which again is on the county to pay for. It's a big.
We can use it, it's not how big it was, really.
So when these children are uneducated, how do they do exams and things, how do they do your O level?
Yeah, we do.
I don't know, I think they can sit exams.
They do.
It's just, you would.
There are options available. I mean, it depends. There are some children that are in programs. We have a group that come here and are helped with their GCSEs, and we've actually given them some small amount of space to be able to help them do that. So there are some that actually come in, they meet a teacher, they go through it, they have a lesson and they do it. Some home educated families I know in Ilfracombe do it very successfully, and they have an online system where they have to do their GCSEs and A-levels, and some of them, I know one of the children has done an A-level before he's done some of his GCSEs, because just obviously specialist subjects. So there are things if it's done properly, but obviously at 150 people, I doubt that's a huge statistic.
For their exams, they come into school as external pupils. So we're vigilating them and have a line of external, so we usher them in, they do their exams that they've been entered by the parents for them to do. They do it and then they go.
Wasn't there some question, you know, about do they have to pay for these exams?
I don't know about that.
Seems to think that's an answer to recently.
I suspect they might have to, because they're no longer part of the school, the school got their funding for it.
Yeah, because if you were right, we
But
could do
to do,
Yeah,
no,
no.
I found to do their exams,
Per
they
exam.
come into
Yeah.
school as an external student, and they come into the examination procedure that we monitor as a member.
Okay, good.
So it's something that we could have, maybe thinking of who might be suitable, maybe Jodie, Michelle, like, because he's got knowledge about this area, about schooling, about numbers like, because these numbers come from him, although I think out of as well. Maybe he could come and present to town council about this whole issue. And about
Yeah, I've made a note. I think we'll speak to Upcoming Futures and see what.
Yeah,
they're doing.
or someone else from the
Hey, Sarah, any more questions for Sarah? You go around to you, you know.
No, the last meeting I was in there trying to find more money to have the budget next year, because they're short again, so. Watch this space for what disappeared things, but. Yeah.
Councillor Crowd.
Previous, down on that, we had a urgent financial meeting. The figures presented at the meeting, I've said this in other meetings, so it's no surprise, lead you to believe that the only thing to do if you work for North Devon Council is to run screaming from the building. But these are not unique reports. I mean, if you go back to the budget report last year, the budget report the year after that, they always project figures and, you know, massive deficit go to bigger deficit go through. Having said that, they do seem to be taken a bit more serious than they normally do this time. So I don't know if perhaps they've finally run out of flesh to trim, perhaps, I don't know, but anyway. So Dan says there's a lot of work going on, a lot of pre-work going on finance. You'll be over the moon to know that we've got a new, dynamic, forward-thinking chair. The council is now being chaired by David Wood from South Bolton. He's going to take it in his iron fist and take it into the 21st century. So we're looking forward to that. Looking for a very good time. That's availability. Traffic resources next week, and I take it you've all read the assets report that go into strategy. Predominantly in our case, no, maybe.
Yeah, that was the plan, thank you. Any questions for Paul? You?
Right, not much really to report. Licensing, I'll let everyone. Bless him, do something about our licensing.
You can do that.
No, I'll take up on all these things that. I went to the last IBT meeting, as you know, I'm a representative from NDPC, and like Lloyd mentioned before, I obviously represent the town council. And had a very interesting meeting, lots of questions that they've asked, which obviously I believe Neil is chasing up for me with the officers. But one of the items that they're doing again this year is they're going to the Devon show. So I am going on Saturday to represent, well, I'm not sure what I'm representing, but I'm going to give them a hand on this film. So I'll take the deputy mayor's chains and, you know, do the usual. Bit difficult to say, but the IBTA are very active, as you know, with regards to marketing, and they are very pressing to know what budget they will be getting from this organisation.
I'm afraid it's, they don't get a budget, we
Well,
have a
yeah,
marketing
yeah,
budget,
yeah,
on
wow.
which if we are open to discussions. But
Yeah,
there, it's not a budget line that predominantly goes directly to the IBTA, unfortunately. Be very clear about that.
Obviously, feel that that they are supported.
And they are supported, so the only money we spent out the previous to a project that they brought forward to us. So I'm open to those discussions. I'm not shutting the door by any means,
Yeah.
but I just want to just get rid of that rhetoric that it is money for the IBTA. It's not. It's for marketing as a whole. And now that we've got a communications and marketing officer, we're obviously just being a bit conscious as to where that money is going to be spent.
Yeah,
So
well, as I say,
I'm happy to.
I'm sure myself and Neil will get the message through, but
Yeah,
I did say I would pass on their comments, which I've obviously done.
very happy to have a conversation with them.
Yeah,
Just need to know what, and then we'll bring it to council.
big thing. But please, you know, as I say, please know that I did pass on their comments.
Yeah.
Video, what video are you doing?
I know.
Just, sorry, Chair, if that's right.
That's right.
Just to back up on where you said about the Devon show, we have been made aware, they have asked whether we could possibly look at staffing or going and helping, and that is a subject I'll be bringing up at the staffing committee meeting next week, so.
I believe they've also contacted the town crier.
Yes, the town crier is also representing, so he will be
Yeah.
going down on one day, and we might go, but it'll have to just be agreed by staffing next week.
Lovely, thank you.
Seeking permission to ring his bell outside of the community.
Yes, he has to, yeah, the town crier does have to ask the resident town crier of the area.
Does it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a very, there's a field, there's protocol, it's politeness.
Can I go and ring bell in the way?
Yeah.
You can't ring his bell anywhere.
It's just,
Okay, step on somebody else's bell and thank you, Jim. That is John, and the licensing update.
Yeah, the licensing, we haven't had a governance meeting this month, so there's no reports for that. I know June was taking lots of notes last time, but what, sit back and listen.
Absolutely.
Now you put it on me. So, right, okay. A lot of the conversation at the licensing meeting for North Devon District Council, taxi fares, so they've not gone up for since 2022. So we've gone through extensively figures for this, for that, and the other. There's a thing called a flag rate, which is what we pay to start with, and that's going to increase from the cheapest for the basic is £3.90, and then depending on the day, the time, the bank holiday, it can go no higher than £5.85. That is the maximum. Taxi companies can charge less, but that's what's that. But again, these things take time to go to public consultation, go to this. Tomorrow we have a licensing meeting to finalise it and it'll go through. So that's what a big thing was. There's also fuel, because of the price of the fuel, it's going to go up 20 pence a journey if fuel goes to £1.70 a litre or more. So there's little things in that to help the taxi drivers to earn a living. That's what they're coming on with us. Non-motorised taxis, there's one in the whole of North Devon, it's in Ilfracombe, it's called a horse and carriage. And the flag rate was agreed on £2.40. Why do you need a flag rate? You stop and cut it and holiday, get on. Anyway, so that was agreed there. Okay, so that's that. So there we go, that is officially a taxi. There you go. Also, as notes of interest for us, animal welfare, there was another one added to the team, so there's a lot more activity for animal welfare in North Devon. They've actually done a conviction, £1,000, was it, something like that, they were convicted in that, but they're doing a lot more going out and sorting out, so that's a positive for animal welfare and the team there. One thing that has been bugbear of mine, and I know Paul was instrumental on many years ago with this, the taxi rank review. We've got the taxis, different places in the town, North Devon, but in front of Witherspoons, they're going to move that into a taxi rank on the front and take it from the side. But that was decided a year last January. So I'm at many meetings, what's happening in consultation is that, anyway, because of being short-staffed, they haven't put it in the paper, they're going to put it in the paper and it's moving on. So as soon as it's organised, then we go to county council to do the lines and stuff like that. So that was moved forward there. Other bits and bats that are not particularly interesting. So that's the main points of the licensing meeting. Did I miss anything out?
No, you did.
Today we've got another one tomorrow, so I will do the report next council meeting for the licensing.
There is a tobacco and vape bill going through.
Sorry?
There is a tobacco and vape bill which is going through local council representation. So obviously it has to be direct consultation.
Yeah.
And then once consultation is complete, and we don't ask you what the timeline is because they didn't say. Obviously they will look to implementation.
The licensing committee is also we have a crime section as well.
Yeah.
We have a police act, but we didn't have any
No, we
go on last meeting, but I think we will be having tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I will report back anything goes on and talk about what's going on.
So just a quick question, the surcharge that goes on when petrol goes above 170,
Yes,
does it come off when it drops down below?
yes, it does. It's the 170 threshold for that. And also, if it goes up 20 pence more, there's a 5 pence surcharge on it as well. So if it goes to 190, it's 25 pence a journey. So you can have a journey from here to Taunton, and it's only 20 pence that we spent half an hour with that. So that's what came out of it. Yes, sir, you've got to live, I mean, yes.
Is the surcharge affecting horse and carts? Well,
It's a surcharge, what?
affects the horse and cart that goes up 170.
That depends on the horsepower.
I'm intrigued, the horse and cart, the rack rate being £2.40.
They had to put something on legally.
So the blackboard that hangs on the back of it says 20 quid a ride.
Yeah, but part of that
People
£20 includes the £2.40 flag rate,
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah,
I think.
£17.60 entertainment value.
I think.
Well,
Can I just, sorry, can I just add, we had a planning meeting last Wednesday and I enthused about fun box for them.
That goes my chair's discretion, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Apologise, yeah.
No, not at all.
We had recommendation for a few members that it was painted like TARDIS.
No.
You know, there was all kinds of, but it caused a bit of a laugh, bit of light relief. So thank you, Laura, for those lovely graphics you sent in.
No, that's okay, well, hopefully, we'll now be moving it, but I'll bring that to the next full council.
Good. Good. Right, thank you, everybody. 16, to receive reports from working groups and councillor champions. We got any?
Not had any official reports.
I'll give a quick verbal one, just from this morning, had a very good meeting for volunteering. Had a very good meeting this morning with Mary Midson, a new community officer, and Cara Stevens, the new communications officer, about promoting volunteering, and they're going to be launching volunteering week in Ilfracombe from June 1st to June 7th, and basically every day there's going to be at least one video going out of someone who's a volunteer in some bit of charity in the town, talking about why they do it, and basically encouraging people to get involved with volunteering. So then in addition to the videos, there'll be social media posts, just sort of text and pictures of various people who do so, you know, such great work around the town and often not recognised for that. There'll be a meeting or an event in the middle of it where it'll be for about an hour. It'll be a thank you for all the volunteers that ITC has, so from Little Picking to the drivers. And then after that, there'll be like a public part where, again, using social media and the posters will encourage members of the public to come and just have a look and chat to people who are working in the voluntary sector to see if there's something that might interest them. It would be gardening, picking, something like that, or social care. And so that's just to be flagged up for about a month's time.
Thank you, Trevor. Right, 17 IRB update.
Well, yes, we did. So we had a meeting on, are you all right for me to? deliver one in?
I'll dig up some stuff, yeah, go on then.
Okay, so we had an IRB meeting, the last one was on the 29th of April, just a few minutes, we haven't actually had the notes that come out of it. We did have a presentation from Tara Jenkins from North Devon District Council. She is the engineering she heads up the engineering team. So she gave us a bit of an overview with regards to Eclipse and what's going to be done and what's not going to be done and how things are going. We're hoping, this is very broad, so please don't quote me. She's given broad dates of when they're considering and trying to do some things. They're going to be doing some more work around Capstone around about 2027. The Wildersmouth behind the landmark, they're hoping again 2027 that they'll be able to start doing some work on that. Rackery Cove, they are aiming at autumn of this year to try and get that reopened and a bit more secure. Heel Bay is a little bit contentious because unfortunately nobody owns the land that is falling down. So they own up until a certain point, and then they can't work it out. So they're busy working at the moment with who are they working with?
Talking to the campsite, aren't they?
Yeah, the campsite and there's a bit of no man's land in between the two. So they're busy trying to look into that. So, but it's in hand, so they are kind of working on it.
Cracks Farrell was living in the danger zone for a while, so I don't know whether we-
A certain resident was there, yes. What else came out of IRB? We're opening up discussions, the words mugger keep being used, we're not talking about mugger, but that conversation's come up again about having more space for youth. So I think as a team, we will probably be looking at trying to put a report together to try and bring that back up onto the agenda. Something that was highlighted is that the section 106 money that is available. Obviously, there's only certain projects that go against every single planning application that we can get section 106 money for. At the moment, there's only 4 projects that go against that, and if we don't have something put together like we want, if we say we want some youth space, if we don't have something available, we can't apply for that money can't be assigned to that project. So it's kind of having those shelf ready projects that we can kind of put in. But yes, so I think that was it. Oh, and then there was discussions about the seafront master plan and looking at doing a review. I think we're going to tie that in, Paul, I think if I was right, we're going to try and tie that in with regards to the engagement and what you want to do and more of a strategic overview as a council, but that's a much bigger piece of work that I've kind of got going on in the back of my head. So I'll bring that back to you to get some views later on. So I think that was a brief overview of IRB, unless I've missed anything.
Sounds good. Any questions for IRB? No. Good. Right, receive any correspondence, licenses, notices?
Not had any.
Not received any. Chair's discretion. Of which we had Trevor that may have covered it already. There's a different one. And yeah.
Was there a different one? Sorry, did you say?
Yes.
Please.
Well, I'll be very quick. It's just a very big thank you on behalf of the Ilfracombe Twinning Association. So last weekend, last long weekend, was a visit from the delegation from the town that we're twinned with in France, and from the outskirts of Caen, Normandy, and we had a very successful weekend. They enjoyed themselves to various places in Ilfracombe where we stayed. Visited a vineyard, the plants and more. Held Cayley, the Slade Vision Centre, and it was very enjoyable. Everything gone very well. And big thanks to Mark for having the city reception and speech, which went down well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Laura as well for helping out. And then on the Sunday, we sort of a formal dinner, and Judy stepped up and came, which a bit more ITC. Well, that's it was a very successful thing, and I hope we'll be putting up some stuff on socials to try and raise more awareness of twinning, which is something that is, I think, should be close to our hearts, really. And then next year, all this we're already looking forward to going over life for the delegation for both
Thank you, Trevor. Mr. Crowd, you
I think I shoehorned mine in.
did. And I just really.
Me, well, but my first one was just to, obviously, I think I've emailed you and circulated that the telephone box obviously got planning permission, which is good news, so I'll bring that to SNGP. We also did briefly skirt round the expressions of interest from North Devon District Council. I've obviously circulated that to you. Obviously, that's not set in stone because it obviously goes to the Strategy and Resources Committee on the 18th. But it is an indication of what we can hope maybe expect to come our way. Not an awful lot, but I wasn't expecting a lot. I think that there's a lot of conversation about resource availability at North Devon District Council, officer wise, to move everything over. Just to give you an update, because I chased it up today, the last of the bus shelters, replacement bus shelters on Wilder Road is happening on Friday. So that will be the last of all the old ones are now going to have been replaced with new ones. And the additional one that was asked to the council for at Bickleston Road Junction, that will be going in the next few weeks. So that's good news that we've got that. And also just to highlight, Steve did send this round and Cara has sent this round what she's been doing, but she has asked you all, we're trying to formulate this newsletter, which is another way of engaging with other people, is trying to get people subscribed onto emails if they're not looking at social media. Please can you push that out? If you've got anything that you want to add, obviously it can become a huge piece of work. We're not going to, conquer the world on the first one, but we will do what we can. So if there's anything you want to highlight or want to be in it, please let us know. Please don't tell me after the event. It'll be going out in June.
That's got me thinking about similar things. So I'll just nip over here. How are we getting on with our welcome to Ilfracombe starter pack for employers? We've got to update it and not make George the mayor anymore, that sort of thing.
That's part of the Ilfracombe Works work, and I don't have an update at the moment, but it's part of that work.
Okay, so that is generally quite an important document, and that would be a nice story for you then.
I think we've already discussed this with Cara, and we need to just get some software and things updated.
When I did it in Illustrator, which is fine. It's very good, but it's nobody else can pick it up unless you've got that package on your machine.
Yeah.
So what Cara's saying, you can import it in Canva, and we've all got Canva accounts.
Yeah.
And then we can then update it easily. So I think that was part of the delay. But it's on her. We're hoping to bring forward a probation meeting soon. So we're going to go through her workload again, which will be part of that.
We're very conscious. There's a lot of work that we've been putting on Cara in a very short period of time. She only does 3 days a week. So and she is listening. So
Yeah.
she knows that we'll have a meeting. We haven't actually walked that with her yet, but I'm just conscious that there's a lot, you know, because she's new, we've put a lot of work on, we want to expand, we want to do it, but we have to be proportionate to the amount of time that she's got available, as well as resource and various other things, so, yeah, so bear with us.
Okay.
Sarah, did you have?
If I may, I'm sure loads of us have been to the art trail this weekend, and I wonder if the town council could maybe write a letter of thanks to the organisers, because it's 10-year anniversary. I thought it was fantastic. There's so many people now that are actually visiting and staying in Ilfracombe or coming over for the day. So it's really good for businesses as well.
Yeah, I generally try and write one every year, so I'll try and, I will do that.
Yes, good. Thank you, so I believe our work here is done. So there's no more for any more, no? Go for the world record.
No, you did well.
So, if there's anything else, I'll declare the meeting closed. April 17th. Thank you.
Thank you.
You. Ready to do.